5 days. That's how long the former president has to present himself for jail time. A massively significant moment for the Constitutional Court, but also politically it's a watershed time. Let's discuss this now with independent political analyst and sangoma, Gogo Aubrey Matshiqi. Good evening. Thank you so much for your time. So we're seeing mixed messages from the family. The former president himself has said repeatedly, I will go to jail rather than go and appear before Deputy Chief Justice Zondo. Do you expect the former president to willingly hand himself over in the next 5 days?
Thomas. Well, Sally, before I answer you directly, I need to situate what is happening around the former president in this way. In my view, there are 4 storms that are coming towards South Africa. You have a storm that is going to come out of eNCA. You have a storm that is going to come out of the conflict within the ruling party, the ANC. You have a storm that is going to come out of the Zulu Royal House. And you have a storm that is going to come out of the hunger of our people and the mishandling of the COVID crisis by the ANC government. And these 4 storms have the potential to become one storm, a perfect storm. But to speak specifically of the judgment of the Constitutional Court today, one expects that there will be an attempt, first of all, to prevent the former president from being arrested. And the manner in which the resistance occurs may or may not introduce an element of instability, even violence, into our politics. As far as the family is concerned, it's understandable that you are hearing different voices within the family saying different things, because prior to this moment, we were talking about something in theory, something intellectual, and therefore it was easy to make statements that sound rational. Now that the moment is here, emotions are high, and therefore some members of the family will sustain a certain level of rationality. Some are going to respond emotionally with anger and make the nature of threats that we have seen from the president's son.
So let's move on to the storm that you are foreseeing around the ANC and where it leaves President Cyril Ramaphosa. Do you think this issue is going to further divide the ANC, or will it perhaps clarify what is going on in the ANC? Well,
in the main, Sally, the reason why you have instability within the ruling party is because in spiritual terms, the ruling party has become a very dark space that is in need of cleansing. Its darkness is manifesting as factionalism within the party. And therefore, the factionalism will extend to how different parts of the ANC respond to the idea and the reality that the former president of the party is going to jail. And therefore, this will divide the ANC. If we have seen that even the military veterans within the party are divided, and even at that level, we should expect a divided response to what happened at the Concord today. So what I do expect is further conflict within the ANC, but I don't think it will undermine President Cyril Ramaphosa, because I think the balance of power, the balance of forces, and the balance of support, at least within the NEC of the party, favors the president. Whether that balance of support is reflective of the general balance of support within the party as a whole is another matter altogether. But he is going to preside over a party that continues to be in conflict and that continues to be divided.
You mentioned another storm that you see coming, and that is a hunger around the way COVID has been handled. And we are on the cusp of the SIU report, which is probing that Digital Vibes tender that was awarded by the Health Department, and we will hear hopefully within the next few days, whether the Health Minister, Zweli Mkhize, is directly implicated in unduly benefiting from that report. Do you think that that is another storm that the ANC is going to have to weather, and specifically President Ramaphosa?
Well, COVID-19 is not just a virus. COVID-19 is a messenger, if you look at it in spiritual terms. It is a messenger which, in part, is here to expose, as I said, the fact that the African National Congress, in spiritual terms, has become a very dark space that is in need of cleansing. Secondly, it is a messenger which is here to expose the extent to which the wishes of our people, the desires of our people, are at variance with the moral content of this ruling party. And therefore, this virus, this messenger, is here to expose the extent to which ours is a reality of misrule by this ruling party, the ANC, even when it comes to the handling of the COVID-19 crisis.
Yeah, I find it fascinating how you're marrying sort of political events and their spiritual import. And I have to ask you to take a look at former President Jacob Zuma. His life, almost Shakespearean. He goes from triumph to tragedy and back again. Such a catalyst, such a pivotal player in South Africa's landscape. I have to ask you, what is your spiritual take on this man who's been so crucial at so many times within our political history?
In 2014, at Umkhosi, the so-called reed dance, a group of maidens was seized by what seemed to be a demonic spirit, and they charged at what was then the President of the Republic, Jacob Zuma. His protectors removed him, and their explanation was that he was going to the toilet. In reality, if you look at it in spiritual terms again, the behavior of the young girls who seemingly were being possessed by a demonic spirit was a message from the ancestors about what was going to happen to the political and personal life of what was then the President of the Republic. I remember speaking to a journalist privately at the time and explaining to her that what the ancestors are announcing and what will follow, therefore, is the unraveling of the political and personal life of what was then the President of the Republic. And this will culminate in his political life, ending in ignominy. And this is the point we are approaching. Except, this is not just the story of a single individual who was the President of the Republic. There is an extent to which the storm in the Zulu Royal House, the storm in the ANC, and the storm from eNCA will engulf the entire country. Because the demonic forces that are behind some of the things I am talking about are thirsty, and they are thirsty for blood. I must add, however, that the storms I'm talking about are not inevitable. They are avoidable depending on decisions that will be made by the protagonists. If the protagonists exercise their free will in a manner that threatens stability in pursuit of their own security, political, personal, and otherwise, they are going to plunge the country into a crisis.
Completely fascinating analysis. Thank you so much for chatting to us. That's independent political analyst, also sangoma, Gogo Aubrey Matshiqi, speaking to us there.